What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome back to the Tilted Tavern. It's been a very long time, about 4 months since I have done anything podcast related, and it's about time to change that. We are pushing into BlizzCon just in a week. We just had a bunch of Riot news. There's a ton of things to discuss, and well, that's what we'll be doing here tonight. And of course, drinking a beer. The beer is a Spaten Oktoberfest, one of the year-round available Oktoberfest that is available pretty much everywhere. My name is Solid Jake. I am joined here by my good friend Ryan Arano Ward. What's up, man? What's good?
Everything's good. Work's busy. Leave a week from today for California and could not be more excited.
I can't wait either. It's weird. I mean, obviously we're going to talk a lot about Blizzard and Riot tonight in general. And Ryan just got a Yeti. I'm so proud of him. He went out, he bought a nice podcasting mic because we do want to get back into podcasting weekly. And it sounds good, man. It sounds good. Every once in a while, we're going to figure out me hearing myself mild. It's mild. It's like a whisper. And right now I can't, but if you had been talking and then I start talking for a second, it picks up my voice because it picks it up. Yeah, it's interesting. But anyways, let's get the pour. You already poured yours like a heathen. I've got myself a proper Oktoberfest Stein.
I've already drank it too.
Yeah,
I won't lie.
Actually, just awful. Wow, doesn't even come close to filling the cup.
Well, this is 12 ounces, and your Stein is probably a solid 16. So
I came prepared. I can't have the disappointment of a half full Stein.
I only bought one. I bought pumpkin beer instead.
Actually, just a bad person.
Pretty much. Basic white girl.
Basic as it gets. Where do we start tonight? I think we got to start with Blizzard or Riot.
You gotta. Yeah. You have to start with Blizzard. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's with everything that's happened recently, including, you had Deathwing yesterday. I think that was yesterday.
So let's start with that. Let's start with the most recent news. Heroes of the Storm, a game that is a big part of my career, being a commentator for that game for 4+ years. My entry into content creation in general was with Heroes of the Storm. Has been hard to watch for the last year, just kind of seeing it fall apart, to put it bluntly, right? They canceled HGC last December, so it's been, 10 months now since HGC has been officially announced dead. Even though at BlizzCon, which was last November, they were basically like, HGC, these are the news things for next year, boom, boom, boom. So everybody was kind of under the impression. Granted, there are some signs that I wasn't completely caught off guard. There were definitely signs showing that HGC might be going to the wayside, I suppose. But it's been a weird year for HOTS. We've seen some support, but we've seen a lot of devs leave and move on to either other games at Blizzard or other companies like Lana has moved on to Riot Games. And many others have moved on to other studios. But obviously there's always BlizzCon. What's coming at BlizzCon for my game? That's what everybody wants to know. And this year, it sounds like Blizzard doesn't have anything at BlizzCon, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
Heroes doesn't.
Sorry. Yeah, Heroes does not have. Shouldn't be a surprise for anyone just because you think about it. There's only so much spotlight that can be shown on all these different IPs. They've got new titles. Heroes is clearly not a focus anymore. So the Deathwing announcement came.
When you can only play it in the downstairs in the classic arcade.
Okay, that's we'll get to that. That's not even I'm not even mad about that. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Heroes being taken off the main show floor, fine. Hero is no longer being prominent. That's obvious after HGC got canceled, right? HGC is effectively the game's entire marketing budget, period. 100% of all marketing for the game was esports. So the game has zero marketing, meaning they expect to make minimum dollars.
Break even.
If that, right? They basically had a pipeline. My perception is they had a pipeline of heroes they'd committed to They were doing it, and I think Deathwing is the final hero. That is my actual opinion.
Be actually fitting, ironically.
It would be. But or should we call him Deathwing? Because I didn't watch the live stream. I was at work, but I know you watched the live stream.
I did, and it was about a half hour late. And every time it tried to start, there was sound issues, and it was deaf, and then there was a buzzing, and then eventually they got it going. But man, it took a while, and I'm sure you could imagine Twitch chat was
Memeing it up.
very forgiving.
Yeah, oh, they always are. That's rough to have been silent for that long. Come out and do this. I thought Trick and Jay Howe were at Blizzard Studio like 2 weeks ago.
Honestly, didn't know. I've had not really much.
They posted pictures of the statues saying secret stuff, like they were on Blizzard campus, like they were clearly at Blizzard campus, and I was curious. I was like, why are they there? Like, is there like a bigger event? Of course, I looked at other people's Twitters and they're not there. So I was like, okay. I kind of had a hunch that it was something video content related, but. When you fire all your community managers and all your staff, you don't have the people that know how to do this. You're gonna have problems.
That you are.
It's
that they did.
That's really something else. But I guess it's not the end of the world. I mean, the YouTube video and stuff is all fine, right?
I mean, and even like from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are saying that queues are faster. It definitely brought some excitement back to the game for a lot of people.
That's good.
I mean, that's great, but it's curious to see how long that will hold or go from there. But even Deathwing as a character, a hero, looks he's different. And Kyle did a wonderful job at developing that hero and doing all that, and it's really interesting concept, but I feel like you said, it's almost like that pipeline of just getting out the content, what's there. We'll see if there's anything else.
I mean, to have a hero that literally can't be targeted by allies, can't be healed, nothing.
Always unstoppable.
Always unstoppable. Literally has a fly to get out of bad situations. Like it's definitely compelling.
2 different range and melee spec.
Yeah, it is a cool idea, and I want to play him. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to commit time at BlizzCon to sit down and play Deathwing personally, because I'm not so eager that I need to. However, that I say that, I'm thinking about it. We're going as media, so we're going to be there to make content, so I don't have to wait in line. I can actually just try him out in the media lounge and record some content and post a video of Deathwing. And I guess I'll have to do that now that I'm thinking about it out loud.
It's almost like you're obligated.
I'm kind of there to do that. Should I do that? Yes, I should. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I know that there's a rumor that there's a bunch of other things coming out for Heroes, kind of like an arcade type content where there's like going to be other game modes, like a bunch of different brawls and stuff like that for the game.
So like Warcraft 3 creator type of thing, like Bourbonog and
maybe, and like the
tower defense.
Well, the frustrating thing about it is like that's one of the first things I ever asked Dustin Browder about Heroes, like, because when they first announced the game like 6 years ago or 7 years ago, whenever it was, they had like mentioned that they were considering having an editor. And I talked to Browder and they were just like, we totally could do it, but we don't want to do it. And I think they were just kind of like afraid of maybe someone just making a Dota map or whatever and losing control of the game and everything. But every Blizzard game I've ever enjoyed has always had a massive community influence in terms of the game's design, whether it's add-ons for World of Warcraft or custom maps.
StarCraft 2 has editor.
StarCraft and Warcraft and clearly they're acknowledging that at this stage of the game, I suppose, not just for Heroes, because I know Warcraft 3, one of their things was they wanted to expand the editor. That's like a big goal in Reforged, is expanding the editor. So I'm curious what we're gonna see born from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's I think you even said it, there's so much coming soon in the scheduling on the main stage. So it's, I
Yeah,
mean, if
I
we don't
actually
get Diablo 4, if we don't get some form of Overwatch 2,
I actually
I'd be
haven't
very
mentioned that on the
surprised.
show yet. So I guess what Rana is referring to is when you look at the actual schedule, they have the schedule for every single stage on Blizzcon.com. And the first thing after the mythic stage, which is the main stage, the first thing after the opening ceremony is coming soon. Second thing, coming soon. Third thing, coming soon. Fourth thing, I mean, literally the whole day on the main stage is coming soon content. That is the best possible scenario, in my opinion, right now for Blizzard, because we have
Absolutely.
this whole Blitzchung situation, which is just shit across the board. Like there's no one that's perfectly right. There's no one that's perfectly wrong, or except China. But it's really just a bad situation. And the one thing Blizzard needs right now is people to be excited about their games again, because right now that is not the situation. We basically understand that we're likely getting what, Diablo 4,
Uh, Definitely,
Overwatch 2, which is
that's the rumor. Yeah, what they're saying is like a PVE version of Overwatch.
a single player story driven Overwatch game that is a separate product you have to buy, not a true sequel to Overwatch, but a separate game still.
And it probably won't be Overwatch 2. It'll be Overwatch insert name here type of thing.
Tracer's pantalones.
Probably not, but you never know.
What is a pantalone?
Pants.
I feel like is nice. 2 years of Spanish. Forgot what pants were. I mean, got them, boys. I have to try this beer.
It's good. I mean, it's a typical Marzen.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's Marzen. We had it's the cheapest of materials, the basic of basic, and I will drink it all day.
I definitely
but I
don't
also
have
drink Bud Light.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were reading the bottle and you said it's brewed by Bud Light, and that kind of
it's brewed in Missouri, in their facility. I think I saw Missouri. So I saw St. Louis. Yeah, imported by Import Brand Alliance, St. Louis, Missouri.
It is tasty.
Yeah,
I gotta give them that.
I mean, for a Marzen that you can get year round, which is most times around here, it starts in late August and it's pretty much leaving the shelves now.
Oktoberfest. We're already seeing holiday beers in the stores. Can you believe that?
Yes, we are. I absolutely can. I saw the Dunkin' Donuts Winter Porter today.
I had that last year. I did not like it.
No, it was not good.
No.
Their summer one's not bad, but their winter one's pretty bad.
Peck the Mage says in chat, Warcraft 3 Reforged will spawn Heroes 2 mod and rebirth the game. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. I honestly think that if there's a future for Heroes, it will be a community-driven initiative through something like that, where the community balances it on their own in the whole deal. Adas, thank you for the resub, man. Much love, brother. But what are your wants for BlizzCon, Ryan? What is your number one? I need this to make me a happy Blizzard fan.
I want a spin-off Diablo game. I want something else in the universe because I like Diablo, but even Diablo 3, I usually get to max level and then I kind of even out and I don't really play it much after that. But I would love a Diablo-esque Dark Souls or some sort of adventure style game because I think that universe is wonderful.
So if we just kind of rewind to a year ago, one thing Blizzard announced was that they had multiple Diablo projects in the works. Now that could literally just mean Diablo 4 and Diablo Immortal, the mobile game that they've been silent on for a year now, right?
And the Netflix show.
And the Netflix show, which was leaked, but again has been pretty damn silent.
Blizzard as a whole.
Yeah, true, very true. Those three things probably would make up everything, but who knows? Now, would you be mad if Diablo 4 ended up being a different game.
Yes.
Like you'd be mad if it was like a Dark
Okay.
Souls over the shoulder game.
I wouldn't be mad for me. I'd be mad for other people because the Diablo has a fanatic fan base, and I think with everything of what has happened to them in the past year, for them to not get a true Diablo 4, I would not want to be at BlizzCon when that happens.
But okay, so one of the arguments I've seen is recently a lot of people are talking about Diablo 2 Remastered, which has been confirmed, I think, and how Diablo 2 is a better RPG overall if they're going to give it the Reforged treatment where it's a truly remastered game, a great experience, but a better RPG. Is that not enough to sate them?
Go play what I forget, not Pillar of Eternity. What's the other one?
Path of
Path of
Exile?
Exile. Just go play it at that point. At that point.
Hmm.
Like if you really want that D2, like I mean, don't get me wrong, D2 is better than D3. I will argue that, but at some point, to me, remasters and reforges, and I say that as I'm really excited for Modern Warfare to come out tomorrow. But like, I just at some point they need to. You need to like that's why I'm excited for Overwatch 2 if they do give it a single player. I like new stuff, and they have all this talent and in theory money to they should be able to put something out new and not just reforge and remaster. And once again, as I'm playing classic WoW, I understand the hypocrisy in my voice, but I just would really like a new Diablo. Maybe go back to more of the roots, the darker style, the more RPG elements rather than
They
the
did
cookie
say
cutter
they
like
were going
WoW.
darker. They did say that.
Good. But even it happened in retail. You know, they went the exact same spec style where, you know, at level, what is it, 10 or 15, 30, 45, 60, all the way up, you have 3 things you can choose from, and that's your talent tree, if you will. So I understand where Blizzard has gone in the past where they want to make it accessible for everyone, but I think they need to realize that with how successful Classic has been, with how successful I believe Diablo 2 will be if they remaster it, that there is they need to find a balance somewhere, and they're going one way too far or the other.
That's a good point, actually.
I don't know where that balance is because I fix computers. I don't develop them or anything along those lines, but
right.
I think they need to find a balance. That's just what it is. You can't go one way or the other. You can't appeal to everyone, but
No. So the thing for me is I'm like, Diablo is the IP that is not huge for me. I enjoyed Diablo 3. I did not play Diablo 1 or 2. I grew up playing Phantasy Star Online around that time. That was kind of my game, which is similar, right? You know, it's that RPG, hunting for loot, so on. So Diablo 4 might have me really excited, but I'd be more excited if it wasn't just Diablo, 3 evolved, right? I don't necessarily want to play a top-down RPG where I slay tons of monsters. I want to play something that's a little bit more in the dungeon, like where I feel like, oh my god,
like PSO.
Yeah, exactly, right? Something more like the cross between, or like Dark Souls, something where I can feel the actual mass of that monster in front of me, and more of an action RPG that is hack and slashy, I guess, almost like Monster Hunter World or something like, kind of with that vibe, but Diablo. To me, that would get me truly, truly, truly excited for Diablo. Otherwise, I probably don't care. Like, I'll play it, I'll have fun with it, I'll enjoy it, but it's not ever going to be my game.
And I couldn't agree with that more. If they were to announce the Dark Souls style Diablo rather than a true Diablo 4, I personally would be more excited. But that there's no way that's going to happen because the
backlash last year. Yeah.
You would think the backlash would not continue to happen, but it still does. But I like to think that Blizzard is somewhat smart enough to not do that.
Regardless of how you look at it, this game's been in development since way before last year's BlizzCon. So whatever path they were on, I'm sure they continued on. So I still think that coin is in the air as to what it could be. So either way, it's safe to say Diablo news coming. That's
absolutely.
at BlizzCon.
They'll probably
Overwatch,
open with that.
we'll see it. But we're looking at how many coming soon panels. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on the first day. 4 panels, each about 45 minutes long. Actually, they're all exactly 45 minutes long, with breaks in between for resetting the stage and everything. Those panels,
One's a Warcraft.
yeah,
One's a new expansion, Shadowlands or whatever you want to call it's going to be.
Likely, very likely. So we can say 3. Maybe there's a 4th IP, or who knows? It's really hard to say. There's, the rumors stated that the new StarCraft game got canned and something else got canned. The game Dustin Browder was working on was a StarCraft, strategy FPS or something. That got
Destiny.
canned. Yeah, kind of like Destiny, but also like, what is the name of that game? Like more like an MMO, Planetside. I think it was also.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name. Planetside sounds right, but I never played it.
Yeah, where it's supposed to be like large scale FPS battles where there's progress and points claimed by different factions. I don't know. Anyways, that's probably not getting announced since supposedly it's been canceled. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look at Overwatch. Titan was canceled, and everyone thought it was done, and then it got twisted, and Overwatch came out, and they announced that must have been like 5 or 6 years ago now. But everyone was really excited for that, and that no one saw that coming. I didn't see that coming. I was very surprised when there was a new IP that was announced from Blizzard. So, and who knows? They could very easily drop a new IP. And who knows? Maybe Overwatch 2 has nothing to do with Overwatch. I doubt that, but
yeah,
Overwatch is too popular.
Yeah, unless they I'd be so surprised if they were to make an Overwatch 2 that's story driven and decide to make the main character like someone we're not already like. I would imagine you'd play as Soldier 76 and do like a side mission, and then you would play everybody. You'd play as, I'm sure it'd be like Winston on the moon, and you'd fight moon beasts or whatever.
Whether it's prequel per se, and whether it's like a bunch of origin stories, or if it's actually progresses the whatever it is. But
that's one of the pretty interesting things about some of these modern multiplayer games is we can make this comparison to League of Legends. League of Legends has been building out the Runeterra lore for a long time. So they started with just Summoner's Rift, and you've got this one map where these champions come from God knows where, and they fight. And then they started making, this whole lore and all of these different places and all of these different factions and creatures and whatever else. And they really started building basically an MMO world when all they had to start was a MOBA. And it almost seems like Overwatch is doing that too. Like, it started as an MMO, then they scrapped everything and just made the arena shooter that is Overwatch. And now they're like, okay, now we're going to make a single player experience, which I don't know if it's going to be assets from Titan utilized in that, but who knows? It's cool to think about.
I mean, they have all their PvE events and stuff like that, so they already have, obviously.
True.
They have more than that, but they do, like, there's one going on right now with Junkrat where he's Dr. Frankenstein. I forget what they call him in game, but
yeah, Dr. Junkenstein.
Is that, yeah? So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they did an Overwatch anime, especially after League just said that they're doing that anime, which looks really cool.
I'm interested in that. Yeah.
I think Overwatch, every time they come out with one of those videos, I eat it up. Between the Bastion one, the May one, they're all really good. So I'm really surprised that Blizzard has not put more time and effort into a lore anime of any sort. But
people maybe they just don't want to. I don't
know.
Yeah,
exactly.
They just won't pull the trigger. They tried doing the Warcraft movie and sorry, it's not good. But speaking of
that's hard though, because that's
Hollywood is a different
so
beast.
different.
It
is.
And I wish they wouldn't have even tried. I don't want Hollywood. I want a show. I want an animation. I want something fully generated. Is my cam flickering for you constantly?
No.
Okay, good. It looks weird on my end. Anyways, let's talk about Warcraft in the sense of Warcraft 3 Reforged. We've seen a shite load of assets being leaked recently.
Got me so
Game
excited.
looks really freaking good, but I'm so curious because, long story short, after BlizzCon last year, the day after, I went to Blizzard campus and I went to a Warcraft 3 summit where I got to sit down. I got to play a further along build of the game. I got to play versus matches versus other players. I want to say it was human only. It might have been human and orc only because a lot of the assets weren't done. The game was nowhere near done. The game, I pre-ordered the game soon after, expecting like a summer beta and a fall launch. I expected it to come out before Classic for sure. And, honestly, they showed me tons of assets that, haven't been released even now, which was super cool. But I'm still baffled that we have no information. They've been silent. So it could be, hey guys, it's BlizzCon and Warcraft 3 is out and everybody that attended BlizzCon owns it. But I already pre-ordered it, so where's my money, boys?
They wouldn't do that.
But I don't know what's going to happen, though. Are they going to launch it there? Are they going to say it's coming out in November? Because on BlizzCon, it says estimated release. On Battle.net, it says estimated release last day of the year, like literally 12/31/2019.
Yeah, I'm sure. My guess would be they launch the beta at BlizzCon and then they give it like a solid. If they want to get it out this year, they release it right at Christmas, and then leave further 3-week holiday or whatever it is at the end. And come back and figure out everything else after.
Maybe.
I mean, I definitely think beta is going to be available at BlizzCon. That I would put money, if I was a betting man, I would put money on
like
them
actual beta
announcing, being like, "Hey, Warcraft 3, here's an update on where we're going. Look at these models. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, and by the way, beta is available now. Open beta, or not, probably not open beta, but maybe everyone who's here, or if you bought the virtual ticket, a way for them to push the virtual ticket sales, you get into the beta."
Maybe. That's an interesting idea. I want to know if they're doing more than just a reforge, though. Right? All we knew from last year was, hey, it's a reforge of the game. We're rebuilding stuff. Hey, we're doing balance changes, which they were publicly doing. They were doing balance changes, so which is already differentiating from StarCraft Remastered, where StarCraft Remastered was like, this is the game. This is it. Yeah. This is the game. We're making it prettier. This is it. But with Warcraft 3 Reforged, they're like, no, we're actually, balancing this with the community, trying to make it an esport, make it a competitive game again, bringing it back to the forefront. And the challenges for me is the game doesn't feel modern, right? And I don't know if that's a necessary thing, but a lot of players that are used to League, used to Dota, used to Heroes, they're going to go play Warcraft 3. They're going to feel how bad the pathing of the units is. And they're going to be like, and I don't know if that's something you can mess with.
Because that's like a catch-22. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who
absolutely
are truest and would want it the other way. But
that's the 1%.
Yeah,
it's the 1% that want it the old way. I would honestly prefer they fix the pathing and bring it, modernize it, right?
But I mean, don't you feel like last year at BlizzCon was the first time that they were able to get in the public's eye? So maybe they didn't really do much of the pathing yet, and then this is what they've been working on for the past year.
They didn't do any pathing updates. I'm saying I don't know if that's something they would want to do. I have no idea. It's an interesting thought. Like, I don't know if they're going to make those kind of changes. I don't know if they're going to, people are asking if they're going to make more campaigns and stuff like that. Obviously, that would be very cool to make a Burning Crusade campaign, make a, Wrath of the Lich King campaign. That would be really interesting and compelling because everything already exists. You just got to build it out.
Build it in that world, or not that world, but in that engine.
Well, yeah, that world being Outlands, but yes.
Well, I mean more in the sense the world is already built. We already know what happens. We already know. We already know the story. We know the world, but you have to put it into the engine of Warcraft or StarCraft, whatever. I don't know if they're even using the StarCraft 2 engine or if it's its own engine.
No, it's Warcraft 3 is its own engine. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. It's old, but it's efficient
Yeah,
as far as I can tell.
hey, people still play it. I remember we picked it up like right after BlizzCon for a little bit, and you could still find games, and you could still find people and customs, and
Yeah, I streamed a bit of it. I got stopped a lot, but
well, because those people have been playing for what was that's what 99, I think, when Warcraft 3 came out.
sounds right. 20
So
years? Really?
no, maybe
They would have had a 20-year anniversary, and
maybe that's this year. Dun dun dun. Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 came out in 2002. So I was close.
Okay, 3 more years. Yeah, we'll see. That's obviously something that we're definitely getting news on at BlizzCon, unless they pull a Deathwing and announce it before BlizzCon. I don't see that being very likely because we're a week out from. Oh, I fly what in 8
tomorrow
days?
or
Yeah,
week from tomorrow. Yeah.
So basically 7 days from now, I'll be flying out. So yeah, only 2 years before WoW. That's interesting.
I mean,
we're already working on WoW.
That could have been Frozen Throne I was looking at. Let me look again.
It was definitely Frozen Throne you were looking at.
Let's see. Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, developed by Blizzard, released July 2002.
Wow.
Frozen Throne was released in 2003.
Yeah,
July. So Frozen Throne was only out a year and 5 months before Warcraft 3.
The middle of Warcraft development, they were probably like already working on it.
Oh, absolutely they were. World of Warcraft was in development in like 2001.
This podcast isn't about horses. It could be about horses. Oh my god, my go live thing does say horse. The podcasting horse. I said back on the podcasting horse is my go live notification. I don't know a lot about horses, so I can't really talk about horses that well. Clyde
Can't lead a horse to water and make him drink. That's about all I got.
Oh, there you go. Is it time for Rido talk?
Yeah, I'm down. I am excited. I have installed League. I played my first game back. It went horribly and very long, and I remember why I stopped playing League, but I had a good time.
What level is your League account?
Oh, I had to start a new one.
Oh,
I don't even.
Yours I don't even deleted.
I don't even have that email from when I played League of Legends.
They did send a message out saying we're going to delete your account if you don't log in. Like a few years ago, I think it was. I got mine, and I was like, no, don't do that. So I kept mine alive, but it's like level 21. It's not even.
Yeah, I played one game and I installed Team Fight Tactics and I have a Runeterra, but I didn't even really get to play that except for the tutorial just because I was busy this weekend.
Well, Riot had their big announcement. I'm sure everybody's well aware. They announced a bunch of games. A classic fighting game, which I think is Project L, which it's made by a bunch of FGC people. They had their own studio. I cannot remember. It was like something Thunder, Rising Thunder, I think was the name of the game they were developing when Riot bought them. So they were already releasing videos and a little bit of content around their game they were developing. This was probably 4 years ago. Riot picked them up. They publicly announced that Rising Thunder was canceled and that they were making a new IP or a new product, with Riot, which happens to be a League of Legends fighting game. As a big fan of Smash Brothers, I'm personally not interested in the fighter. You're shaking your head. No, yeah, not even a little.
I have no interest in those types of fighters. I'm a Smash Brother player myself, and I've always. I think the only fighting game I've ever been into was like Mortal Kombat 3, and that was arcade 25 years ago. I think the only other game I ever played, I can't remember what it was called, but it was on like GameCube.
What?
And like that was, I can't even think of what it was called, but you like turn into like a beast or something like that. I can't remember what. I want to say Primal Rage. But that's
Killer
not
Instinct?
It. No, not Killer Instinct. That
there was a werewolf dude. Uh, Altered Beast? I don't know.
No, Altered Beast is Sega.
So they remade that. They made a new one.
Bloody Roar, Primal
Bloody
Fury.
Roar. Primal Fury.
I did play a little bit of Soul Calibur too, but even then, I wasn't a big Soul Calibur fan.
Yo, 8S, you said I didn't even mention Hearthstone during the segment. I mentioned it, and I said that I didn't want to get into it too much. Basically, what I said was all angles suck. Like, the whole situation is shit. I don't like the way Blizzard handled it. I don't like Blitzchung bringing it up, politics up during an event. I think there's a time and place for everything. I don't think he's completely wrong to do it, but I also, I would have been pissed off if I was casting. I'm like, really, man? Like, come on, just be about the tournament. But I get it, the graveness of the situation. Obviously, Blizzard dropped the fucking ball, though. Like, there's no... But
yeah.
Is the guy innocent completely? No, not in my opinion. But
can you blame Blizzard for a company who makes a lot of money in China? You can, but they're a business, and it's tough. Obviously, I don't agree with Blizzard and what they did, but I can see as a company making that choice, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I mean, and now everybody's on the Riot bandwagon, and they're fully owned by a Chinese company. So
10%. The same company who everyone's mad with the NBA because the NBA took their money.
Yeah.
Yet Riot is okay.
Even
Fortnite. Fortnite, I think Epic is 48% owned by Tencent.
And Blizzard's
but
only
then again,
owned by like 4%. Right. So.
Yeah. But the CEO of Epic came out and was like, human rights, and no matter what, we're not fully owned by them, and we'll say what we want about it. So that was good on him.
Here's the like, while we're talking about this drama again, I actually fully expect Blizzard to somehow acknowledge and apologize during opening ceremony. I don't think they have much of a choice, especially when Congress asked them to change their stance. Mm-hmm. Multiple members of Congress were like, look, man, this is like American values. You should probably stop being assholes and man the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of am expecting them to address it early, but it's such a terrifying moment for Blizzard to have to do that. Like, you're bring fucking Blitzchung on stage with like a Hong Kong May. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I mean, and you know there's gonna be a bunch of people with red shirts because red shirts and Blizzard in the past don't go well, and they're gonna have.
What's wrong with the red shirt guy? Why do you hate red shirt guy?
One, I don't hate red shirt guy, but also the second guy, do you have phones, also had a red shirt. So it's like kind of like the standing, not obviously red shirt guy did not stand up. He just brought up lore that Metzen messed up, and good for that guy, because I didn't even. Great. I think that was Falstad, if I'm not mistaken. He was talking about.
He's like, Falstad's dead. He's like, actually, Falstad's not dead. He's in the council of the. I don't know.
In this book, didn't he run away? It's like, did he? We'll get back to you. But
what a legend.
It is. I mean, but people are gonna have red shirts. People are going to hopefully peacefully protest. That does sit in the back of my mind, wondering how bad it could get. But
well,
I mean, that's going to be part of the experience, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely something. Yeah. Well, moving on to Riot Games, we're going to talk about everything. So we talked about the fighting game. The shooter looks awesome. Conceptually, I mean, it just straight up looks like CSGO with classes. So class-based shooter, but it seems like your classes aren't healer tank. It's like you have some form of utility. That utility might be like a double jump. It might be like a smoke screen. It might be like a wall climb. It might be like a dash. We don't really know. We only really saw like the daggers and like the smoke.
Mm-hmm. I love what Riot does, how League of Legends, you can have a hard carry. One thing that really frustrates me about, and I'm not the best player by any means in any game, But when I go to play Overwatch and I'm getting gold medals across the board, but
Your
you can't.
contributions are still so limited. Like,
You're limited to what you can. And same with Heroes of the Storm. I can know as a Dahaka to soak this lane and really get the experience to try to get us back up, but then one person runs in 1v3, and whereas League you can take a 1v3.
yeah.
It's probably a little bit later in the leveling process and you have to be up a couple levels, but that's possible. Even up 3 levels, if you try to 1v3, you're probably going to die in Heroes. And I love that Riot actually has the ability to, they know that hard carry is important, and I think that like CS Go, that you will be able to have that in this game.
Yeah, let's draw some comparisons. And, I'm just going to make this little subtle plug really quick. I didn't know a lot about Riot's history. I never was a big League of Legends fan. They just came out with a documentary on Netflix called League of Legends Origins, which apparently I'm in. So check it out on Netflix.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's I'm playing Smash Brothers at the MLG office, and they decided to put that footage in the documentary on Netflix. It's weird, but I'll take it. But just speaking about League of Legends, in the reason I'm bringing up the documentary is because I watched like the first 20 minutes of it, and the developers really came from Dota, which means it really came from Warcraft 3. The whole idea of farming up, getting XP, and that the 2 guys that created the company, like when you watch the doc, you'll learn that one of them's like a hardcore Dota. They're both gamers. One of them's like really, really, really into Dota, and the other guy is like a business nerd that also likes Dota, and he likes playing games. And they basically decide that they were, it was hard to find matches. There wasn't a big player base, and it took a long time to load up. It wasn't a dedicated.
The matchmaking
client.
was bad too.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Like you would find something, but you would there was no matchmaking, literally none.
Precisely. So they wanted to make League of Legends, and that's where it all comes from. So, a lot of the design values come from, Warcraft, really, which is cool. But I think what they're doing, with that game is obviously working, considering League of Legends has retained a very large audience for a very long time. But I don't think it's safe to assume their other games will be as good, right? You look at Blizzard, Warcraft 3, StarCraft. Warcraft 3, very competitive. StarCraft 1, very competitive. StarCraft 2, designed to be competitive and was, but definitely had its hiccups and, its moments. And then you look at modern day, where they really wanted to put that emphasis on Care Bear, everyone wins, yay! And it didn't work well for Overwatch and Heroes, in my opinion. I still think they're both severely flawed esports. The fact that Overwatch won't show you stats, just shows you gold medals and shit, still pisses me off. They've always wanted to hide information from you, prevent you from being able to talk to the enemy team. All of that kind of shit is what takes away from competitive communities, in my opinion. And that's what Blizzard has been putting an emphasis on in the recent years with their games. I don't think we'll have that issue with Riot and Valve games, but I do think those are all core values that Blizzard's been stressing to put in their games that have caused their games to be lesser esports than they could be.
Yeah, no argument here on that. At least with Heroes, you could see the stats and stuff like that. But even as someone who just went to Overwatch finals, you saw stats, but only what they want you to see. It's not like it was easily accessible. But I also don't really watch on Twitch. I know they have that Overwatch League Pass.
Like gold medals and shit, isn't it? I don't know.
Okay, I don't know, to be honest. I don't care that
Owl.
much about Overwatch. I don't care that much about Owl.
You've been to like 2 Overwatch finals, and you don't even.
I also went to the Fortnite World Cup. I do. Yeah. You're right. If they're on the East Coast, I want to support them. I don't care what it is.
All right.
God, I'll watch anything, really.
Right.
Fortnite. I watch Fortnite, but I haven't played Fortnite in years, but I still went to the World Cup finals. I had a great time.
Real esports. Do you have any experience with CS:GO at all?
As far as playing. I watch it, I'll watch it. Playing, yeah, I played it years ago. This is college.
No, that's fine. That's all that's relevant, because I want to make the comparison to the brief amount of information we have with Project A being the shooter that Riot is making to CS:GO, not to Overwatch, because I don't think it's really going to be relatable to Overwatch. I think it'll be, I mean, gameplay alone and the fact that it's rounds where you die once and you're out, it's
Uh-huh.
CS:GO with
Mhm.
classes.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious is if they're gonna put an economy into it as well, because at that point it's basically CS:GO with a twist, right? But the
Yeah.
economy and the fact that you get money, based on your performance in a round, and I think it's like if you get a kill, you get more money, kind of thing in a round, right?
Yeah.
I've played very little,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but
I couldn't tell you specifics, but that's the
but I've
general
watched a
idea.
fair bit, so that whole economy becomes a very interesting component to the strategy when it comes to progressing throughout the game, especially when it's many rounds in a single map. Um, do you think that's a necessary component to being a compelling esport?
The
The
economy part
economy.
of it specifically,
Economy, yes.
I mean, if you look at the most popular esports, they all have an economy, right?
That's
League
what
of
I think
Legends has
too. That's what I
economy.
think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Dota,
last
everything.
hitting and things along those times.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it adds a cool element because, like in CS:GO, you skip a lot of phases from buying because you save up, and it's like known that on round 4 you never buy. There's like little things like that I think are really cool and add a strategy that you can't have obviously in HOTS, which has no economy.
Right.
Um, so I think it adds to it. Whether it's necessary is kind of hard to say, but then again, League, Dota,
That's what I'm
Counter
looking
Strike,
at, right? I'm looking at every
that's
game
the
that
economy.
has a
Yeah,
strong, you know,
I mean even Hearthstone technically has an economy. You're getting
the strategic value to all card games, right? In some
yeah.
form. Like, and don't worry, guys, we'll get to Runeterra. But yeah, it's just something I was thinking about because I'm like, if you're adding in classes, are you removing economy, right? Are your classes going to have weapon restrictions?
But even then, like at that point, it would be more like a league where your economy is within the class that you're playing. So whether you're not getting a certain item, buffing a certain aspect of your class,
See
that's
if they
still an
that could be really cool. That could be really cool.
yeah,
Cooldown reductions, stuff like
yeah,
that could be really cool.
absolutely.
But are those items actually meaningful when it's like one kill and you're dead? I don't know. It's something that
Yeah.
they've clearly been working on this game for a long time, and I can't wait to actually learn more about it. I spend way too much time at work just kind of like thinking about where it might actually end up. Um, the one complaint about the game that I have, and I understand that the graphics we saw probably aren't really final, but I found it to visually be underwhelming. It just looks kind of
It looked old.
brown. It just looked kind of like
Yeah.
meh.
I mean, but also with that being said, watch that League of Legends documentary. Look where that started and when they first had it, and even
That's true.
early when used to play League, it was I couldn't I can't believe how I played that game. But then again, 10 years ago, there wasn't much better, and the technology is so far from where we once were that I'm sure they can get it up to snuff. And even League though is not the most visually stunning game
I'm not
comparatively
saying
so,
stunning.
but
I don't like the art style. Like I just flat
yeah,
up think
okay.
it looks like the colors. It just like looked kind of But I guess it's like war, and war is hell, right?
And just real quick to Lock TV, yeah, HOTS economy is not XP because all other games have XP. It's a
Disagree.
specific.
HOTS
You don't.
economy HOTS economy is XP. Problem being it's
That,
the only form of economy. Whereas you could say in Dota, the economy is there's experience economy, last hitting and farming the XP, gold economy, and then I guess that's and then structure economy. You could argue that all of those things are
yeah,
economy
but
at
then
that
I can
point.
argue anything has an
Yeah, well,
economy.
sure. But like in HOTS, XP is the only resource that
Yeah,
matters, and that's the problem.
but yeah, okay. And it's shared throughout, whereas an economy to me is more individual based, I guess. That's the way my thinking is the
Diablo
economy is
Souls economy. Sure. Sure. So Yeah, the shooter looks neat. They said we'll get more news in 2020. Can't really talk about it too much more. Runeterra is the only game we have a lot of info to discuss. Do you want to talk about Wild Rift? No, it's the League of Legends port to mobile and console, so like Switch and phones. I think it'll be cool.
I'm sure it'll do well.
It's faster game. Like it's okay. So it's literally Tencent has a game called Arena of Valor. Arena of Valor is legitimately the League of Legends map with different characters. I honestly want to say that some characters are straight from League in Arena of Valor, and then you randomly have DC characters like Batman and Joker in the game. They made that game. It is the #1 game in the world, I think. I think it is the biggest game in the entire world because it's so popular in China. That might not be a fact anymore, but I know at some point it was the most played game worldwide. They brought it to the West, and it flopped hard. Again, this is all things I know because I was interested in like trying to branch away from Heroes and commentate a new game, and this was a MOBA, and Bill's got to get paid. And I did not pursue it because I did not see any growth at all in North America or Europe. And I even have like a big metal pin they mailed me from ESL at some point. I'll have to find it. Character I played was called Butterfly. Anyways, it clearly failed, there. And they basically decided to make a League of Legends iteration on that, and I think it will do quite well. 20-minute game duration is the average length, much quicker. Perfect. Yeah, it's way more accessible, but it's not an esport, right? I don't think they'll have a LCS for Wild Rift, and if they do,
side note, my one League of Legends game was an hour and 10 minutes.
Fuck. Really?
Yeah, because I'm playing with people who probably coming over because the announcement, so not really many people knew what to do, myself included, who has not played in 8 years.
Oh shit, dude! I want to. If there's a bunch of new people playing, and my account is like turbo shit, after like 5 years of playing HOTS, I could go and just smash kids probably.
I'm not saying you couldn't.
Oh,
it was pretty bad.
Am I doing a HOTS or am I doing a LOL stream tomorrow, boys?
I had a good time, I will say, but it was a very long match. That's all.
All right, Ari is my girl. Sexy fox ladies. Anyways,
this took a turn.
Wild Rift, another game. They showed briefly a Diablo style RPG, like a Blitzcrank running through and slaying monsters. That's another game that's apparently under work. And then we have Runeterra. Runeterra being a product that I thought was canceled. So really? Long story short, I had heard that Riot was making an FPS and a card game years ago. Like, literally when Hearthstone came out, I basically heard that Riot had scrapped their card game. And then Riot released a physical card game, if you guys remember. Do you remember this?
Riot released the card game? No, not
a physical, like, paper card game.
I remember Warcraft did, but not
Riot did. And I always assumed that was them basically conceding to Hearthstone because Hearthstone was so successful. Riot didn't want to look like the company that copied anyone at that point. They, because Riot Games had only released League of Legends ever. And then I heard that they were working on an FPS, and Overwatch came out, and they decided to not do anything. Well, obviously, they've still quietly behind the scenes been working on these games for many years. And again, my information is all based on rumors. Maybe it hasn't been as long as I'm saying, but usually those reports are pretty credible. And considering I heard that like 5 years ago, I mean, it's not unrealistic to think of a game's life, development cycle being 8 years, because nowadays that does happen.
Yeah,
5 years.
But you have to have some sort of backup for that, which obviously League does.
Has it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So here they are, and Runeterra is just like the prettiest freaking game I've ever seen. In terms of a card game.
I love leveling up. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
And it's so unique for every single hero. Like, how cool is that? It really does look phenomenal, and I hate to like shit on Valve, but like Artifact tried to make a mobile card game, and it just didn't work. 5 heroes in your deck that all have a special ability, and then you have 3 different lanes, each have a tower. It was cool, but this is a much more out of the box way of doing it, the way that Riot has done it. And you're not forced to put 5 heroes in your deck. You just have your champions that fight, and when they level up, it really feels different for every single hero. Like that, their style, their theme, whatever. Some heroes level up by dying, which is I think his name might be Tryndamere. I'm not really super familiar with League of Legends, but
Yeah, I mean,
I know
not in
his
that
I
extent.
know his ultimate in League is like for 5 seconds he can't die. So you ult and you have 5 seconds of, even if you're like have 0 HP, you're still fighting. So they kind of made his card similar so that when he dies,
that big axe dude,
he levels up. Yeah.
yeah. Tyrendamere.
I would say Tryndamere, but it might be Tyrendamere. But Tryndamere sounds.
I just see Tyrande.
Tyrandamere. So you only played the tutorial, you said?
Yeah, I had full intentions of playing on Sunday, and then life got in the way, and Izzy and I went out, and next thing you knew, I was waking up Monday morning. But that's another story for another day.
I played for probably 4 hours total, maybe a little bit more. I love that they basically stole Magic the Gathering Arena's system, where is there's a progression path where you unlock decks and cards and packs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no buying packs. The only packs you can buy are bundles. And then the only boosters you open are from progression, like quests and stuff. You get like packs, but you cannot buy a booster.
I also saw that you can only buy a certain amount. It like refills over time.
It does. So you can't,
which is interesting.
Just log in. They don't want someone logging in, dropping $500 and owning every card.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that. So I think that's really good. So if you spend like $25 on the game, you're pretty much going to be competitive. And like that.
I also appreciate, because that's, I mean, back to the League documentary real fast. Like in the beginning, they were making it pay to win, and one of the developers literally, he just said, "I hate it, but I can't give you a good reason not to do it."
And
then the owner,
reference to an
League of Legends,
an Annie skin.
Yes,
Annie
correct.
was going to have a frost
skin
that would slow and do less damage, and they were like, "Yeah, this one dev was just like, it doesn't feel
can't
good.
do it."
Yeah, it doesn't feel
and then
good.
the owner was like, "Then we won't do it." And that's good for them for 10 years later realizing that, hey, it can work without it. And I appreciate that, because
they're the company that made free to play work more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, League came before Dota 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Magic, and I played Magic my whole life, and every time you talk about it, or other friend talks about Magic, I'm like, man, I would get back into it. And then I just think of the money sink that is Magic, and I avoid it. But so I appreciate any card game that can find that fair balance, because I'm all for spending money on a game. If it's a good game and I like it, it's free to play, I'm the first person who will spend money on it. But man, I can't spend $200 every 5 months just to. And I know Magic Arena is better than that, because I know they did a really good job with that. But just Magic in general, that's, they come out with a new expansion every 6 months, and something gets phased out, and you have to go buy a booster box, or you just buy the cards, and I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so I think the business model is very good. It feels great. You can buy with real money if you buy the Riot points or whatever, and then you end up spending your RP on maybe you want to, in order to craft the deck you want, you need to have 3 epic cards. So you could buy 3 wild epic cards and then use those to make that exact card you want, which is a simplified version of crafting and buying boosters. It's way more direct. It's exactly how Magic Arena does it, and I think it's a good solution to the problem. But I think there's a limited number of each type of card that they actually offer. You were mentioning restrictions, and I think there are restrictions.
That's cool.
Like these things refresh, so it's like you can't. It's almost like going to prevent people from being able to net deck too hard. It was open to the public over the past weekend. They are doing basically beta weekends.
It was not open to the public.
Oh, sorry.
You had to get a key.
You had to get a key, right? So it wasn't an open beta. You had to get a key. I got mine via Twitch drops by watching Twitch streams that you could get drops. That's how most people got in, I think.
And that's the same thing that's happening November 14th. It's coming back, but if you have a key, you're good to go. If not, you have to drop to get in.
A key again. So it's a really good system for just kind of promoting the game to get people to engage on Twitch. Boost Twitch numbers, gets a lot of free promotion. It's very smart by Riot and Twitch to do that.
Brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, I wanted to play it, so then you're watching it, so you're learning, so then you're telling people about it who are then going to watch it, and it was the best word of mouth for like a video.
Period. Yeah. Gameplay wise, I found it to be very fun and interesting. I can't claim that I can really comment on balance too much, but there's a lot of power creep in the game in general. There's cards that buff your whole deck. There's cards that buff the next coming cards. We mentioned heroes that level up. They can sometimes become hard to clear. I'm worried that the counter spell type abilities will be overpowered because you always have the option to react. It's different than Hearthstone in the sense that I play a card, you play a card, I play a card, you play a card. And when you play an instant, your opponent can always react. So say that I want to cast a kill this card spell, which exists, right? I'm just going to kill this hero because it's a problem. It's gotten too strong. I need to kill it. And then he has the counter spell, whatever it's called. I think it's just called repel or something. He repels it. I might just lose the game because of that, right? And I don't know what the card number restriction is, but like I said, it's too early for me to be able to say. I don't know how many iterations of those kind of spells exist. It is nice that it's not like Hearthstone where there's 9 classes and each class has cards that are restricted to them. It's more like there's different regions. There's like all these different regions.
It's colors in Magic.
It's colors, yeah. They're called regions, but yeah, it's colors in this form. And you can have, I think 2 is going to be the common.
Yeah.
I think you might be restricted to 2 actually.
I know every deck that they give you is a 2-color deck.
Yeah, so you can do 1 color if you want, but you can also do up to
2 region deck.
I think that's the one restriction the game has, which is good. It forces creative deck construction.
Well, I mean, it has to be that at some point. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to, but like at least in like Magic, you get punished if you want to have more than 2 because land. Exactly, yeah. Whereas this is just mana. And I also, speaking of that, I love that you can carry 3 over. I think
it's
that was
not even
really
3
cool.
over though. It's 3 over spell mana, so it's even more specific.
Yeah.
It only works with spell casting.
But I love that.
But like turn 5, you could technically cast an 8-cost spell, but you couldn't cast an 8-cost unit, and that is like brilliant game design in my opinion.
Yeah, it keeps it from being overpowered.
Right. It puts a creative limiter in there, but also gives you options. Because I'm sure there's some pretty cool spells.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too, and I know when the next beta comes, it's going to be a little bit. I think it's longer than. I don't know exactly how long. I know it starts the 14th, but I think it's going to be more than just a weekend.
It's their expeditions, which I think is their like PvE content.
Oh, is it only that? Interesting.
It might be both, but I know they're specifically testing their expeditions, which I believe is either arena runs. I actually don't know. It might be arena run. It might be something else. One thing, I was reading the subreddit, and there was multiple community manager / dev responses in the subreddit, and like the few functionalities that they don't have done yet that they said they want to be able to create before launching Runeterra, because people are like, seriously, this game is so polished. Why is it not coming out this year? And they're like, we want you to be able to challenge your friends. We want you to be able to do draft tournaments where you're opening a pack and you're playing a draft tournament like Magic would. And there was one more. I can't remember exactly what the third feature was. Maybe it was replays, maybe it was spectate, something like that. But those are all like really good responses from Riot. They're like, we want to make sure that we're not releasing a unfinished product. We know the core values of competitive card game communities, and we want to, fulfill that, which is awesome. It's going to be a very fun game.
So I did pull up the article, and it says it's going to include new expedition mode, which will work based on draft gameplay. So it sounds like they're going to do some updates. They're going to do some balancing, but they're going to add that in. So I'm sure you'll be able to do.
Cool. I'm probably going to take a day or two off work and just stream it, just grind it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It also doesn't say how long it is, though. But as long as it's more than... Because what's the 14th? The 14th is a Thursday. So maybe it is like a Thursday to Sunday thing, but I'll make sure to get some time in with that, because I did enjoy it. I love the back and forth. I love that. I think that's something that's missing from a lot of games, because there's nothing more frustrating than putting out your hand and then all of a sudden, like, there's a swipe that comes in, clears you out, and then there's a starfall or something like that, and then you have nothing, and then
you just can't do it. Yeah, because one of the spells is called Avalanche. It's 2 damage to everything on the board,
yourself included.
But you can shut that down, which is really nice. And there's an auto pass feature, because there's so many actions. The game will automatically read if you have no moves and auto pass.
You can turn that off.
You can, but I like the fact that that's there, because I won't use it, but a lot of people will, and that will speed up game duration. And I like that.
People will be stupid if they use it.
Hey, there's plenty of dumb people. No one's going to use it at the higher levels. No one.
No, absolutely not. No one should be using it at the lower levels. But
think like you need to utilize every minute you have given to yourself. So do you draft against bots or players? I mean, we don't know yet, but given Riot's track record, I would expect that this would be drafting versus players. Like maybe
not on the 14th.
Maybe not in the beta, but in their long-term, draft tournaments, it should be like 8 players drafting in a bracket and then playing through, right? I mean, that's what a draft tournament Magic is. 16 players, 8 players, whatever, drafting and then playing with that deck that they drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And even Artifact did that. That was the one game mode that Artifact had that was good, was their draft. And, I already shit on that game tonight. I just wish
it's coming up on its year anniversary.
Man, I played a lot of that beta too.
I've never seen you hard quit on a game like you did Artifact. Like rage quit in the middle of a tournament, and you were like, "Nope, I'm done with this game."
Yeah, because I was competing in the tournaments, and I was doing pretty well. It was fun, and there was one match I'll never forget that was really enjoyable against Wife Coach. And she's really freaking good at the game. We had like a really crazy match where I had this awesome ramp up and setup, but it all boiled down to RNG on pathing as to where units attack that determined the course of the match with us.
Yeah.
Like the way the game worked is like, if there was no enemy you couldn't really choose the placement very, very actively, but it was a very relevant part. And if there was no unit in front of my unit, it would get random pathing, aka it would attack face or to the left or to the right. And if it had a flanking attack on an enemy, it got free damage in but didn't take any damage back. There's no counterattack. Everything about that system is so bad. Like,
I see where they're going with that, but that just doesn't make sense in the idea of MOBA.
No, that's for like a PvE RPG. Like,
yeah, Or like I could see you putting a card like almost like holding back a unit, like you can kind of maneuver them in that sense. But just to have it randomly select just seems
Bad? Oh,
obviously
guess
awful.
what? It was bad. I don't know. And supposedly they're reworking the game, but at this point I'm like all on that Runeterra hype train.
Yeah, too little, too late. I mean, I don't that game went from the biggest hype
Go
to
go to
dead.
go to Steam charts. Steam charts artifact. It's probably 73 peak for today. That's my guess.
97 players average.
97 peak, 97 players
No,
active right now.
no. It says last 30 days average is 97, peak is 207.
Wow, artifacts
Right,
on the up and up.
right now it's 94 and peak was 187.
I should log in.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get it
That's
over
probably
100, boys.
it's probably right up there with I can't even think of that game that you were all in on. That's how bad that game was too.
Okay.
The Gundam game, but not Gundam.
Gundam.
What came out
Oh,
in February?
Anthem. Oh.
Anthem.
What a rough year for video games. If people want to know why I stopped creating content and streaming for an extended period of time, it's because all the games that I wanted to play and all the games that I was hopeful for ended up being raw ass. Anthem and Artifact. I put my eggs in the wrong basket, but it was just a bad year of video games, in my opinion, for at least multiplayer games. Plenty of good single player games launched.
That's what it is.
Plenty of good single players launched, but I'm not really that type of gamer.
Resident Evil 2 was amazing.
It was good. It was good. Runeterra launching on mobile at the same time. I think that's their plan. We don't have an official launch date or anything. We know it's 2020. I think that is their plan. But
they gave a breakdown of like what their plan was and like times and stuff like that. And I know mobile was part of it, but I honestly don't remember if it was the same time. I know you can register for it now and you get something for doing it.
You get so on the board there's a poro, those little fuzzy creatures. There's a poro on the side, and if you pre-register on Apple or Android, you get a Moonstruck poro, which is a rainbow colored little creature. I can't freaking wait. The fact that the way that they're doing board cosmetics for TFT and for Runeterra is like really fantastic in my opinion. I don't know.
No, it's something so simple, but who doesn't want that? Like that's literally something you have to look at all day and night that you're playing, and
everyone
it just adds such a small it adds a small little thing to it.
And you see what poro or creature your opponent has. And did you play with the stickers at all?
No.
They're the emotes, and there are various League of Legends champions doing like face palms or like cheers or like whatever. It's a really good emote system. It's a very good cosmetic. It's the idea of a spray melded with the idea of an emote in Hearthstone.
In Hearthstone, yeah.
Right. So
which should be customizable by this point, but
yeah, no, it's great. They're doing everything right with Runeterra. They really are. I just hope the game is like pretty balanced and interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think they said they're not pushing it as an esport. They're going to let the community have it and see where it goes, which is the correct decision. I think artificially forcing a game to be an esport by putting a league on it is not a good thing. I think if you look at LCS was born after League already had a strong competitive scene. Our LCS was born after Rocket League already had a strong competitive scene. All that should do is further it and improve it, but it needs to exist grassroots first. So I think that's the correct route for Runeterra.
Speaking of, have you been watching World at all? League.
I've been trying to follow it a little bit, but you know how it is. I work 2 jobs and I'm prepping for Blizzcon. So
and not at home.
Yeah. Exactly. We need to give this beer a rating before we keep talking. It's again, guys, we on the Tilted Tavern, we always like to have a specific beer. It's Spot in Oktoberfest. Excuse me. And I've only found one Marzen this year. I've probably had like 9 different Marzens from craft breweries and bigger breweries throughout this whole October season. And I have only disliked one of them. And this is not one that I dislike.
Oh,
I quite enjoy it. I think it's quite good.
yeah. I've had it on draft many a times. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not Yingling or, something a little bit on the lower side. I personally would probably give it a 7.
7 out of 10? Yeah, I can echo that. 7 out of 10.
Because it's something I would definitely order and drink. But if I go out to the package store, it's not going to be the first October beer I get. But I would buy it in March when there's nothing else to buy.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would get this at a bar. A bar that doesn't have like a good craft beer selection. I'd get it on draft. I think that's probably the next time I'll drink it. If I'm in California, where I think a lot of the beer is terrible, I'll look for this. Shade.
How about to say that was I don't know who that was directed at, but
That's
man,
directed at the state of California's beer.
They felt it.
That was directed at West Coast IPAs.
You don't like Stone?
Stone has
Straight
some
out
good
of
beer.
San Diego?
Stone has some good beer.
I do like Stone.
They have some good beer. I can't really shame them. Wolf Pup by Golden Road is a solid beer. I mean, I'm not saying there's not good beer, right?
No, I know what you mean. But the thing is the difference is, for me personally, is if it's a good beer, it's making its way to us here. Whereas if I go, besides like Bottle Logic, who I really like, but any other places that we've gone to that are like more local, they've been just okay. But Golden Road makes it out here. Stone makes it out here. You're going to see them if they are that good.
I think Golden Road is owned by one of the big corporations, which is why they're out here. I think they're owned by Bush or someone. He's going to find out. We're going to learn right now who owns Golden Road. I
do
Bush.
like their mango one.
You would.
I know. You're right. Basic. Oh, wait. That's not the road we want.
Jesus Christ. He went to Brown Road.
No.
Golden Road
Anheuser.
Brewery.
Anheuser-Busch. A brand.
Nailed it. Man, I'm a beer enthusiast if I ever knew one.
I did not know that. Today I learned.
Yeah. That's why their distribution is insane. Right.
Yeah, good for them. I mean,
but it is solid. It is
solid. Dude, have you been to their brewery out there in Anaheim?
5 times.
Oh man, I love that place. They have cornhole in the back. Oh, that's great.
I like Bottle Logic's facility. We're talking about a lot of the breweries that are frequented by attendees of BrewCon, which is always right before BlizzCon, organized by some of our dear friends.
I'll be there on Wednesday.
I actually met him at a BrewCon, even though he lives 10 minutes from me. I met him on the other side of the country.
And
funny
here
how
we
it
are.
works. But, I won't be making BrewCon this year. I'll be flying into BlizzCon on Halloween. Can't wait for it. We'll be making content with this guy pretty much the entire BlizzCon, covering what I hope to be 3 new IPs or 3 new titles. Not new IPs.
At least.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 3 new titles.
There's definitely 3 new titles. There's no way. Between Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch, there's absolutely no way. I would be surprised if there was.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is probably the first BlizzCon where I'm going in really in the dark. Like really in the dark. Because before I was always privy to something, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Astaz, you're gonna be there to drink beers with at BlizzCon? Because we can make that happen, friend. Conatic says they need something new and big, make or break BlizzCon. Absolutely a fact. After last year's BlizzCon being very flat with Diablo Immortal as the main headliner, you don't headline with a mobile title with 40,000 PC gamers in your venue and God knows how many people online watching. You don't headline with a fucking mobile game. And they learn that lesson the hardest way possible, right?
We
Like
also, sorry, continue.
No, go.
I was just gonna say we also were told that this year's BlizzCon is not this is the one you're gonna want to go to. Not
we were told that by friends that are well informed. This year, because I wasn't gonna go. So the long story short here is Blizzard reached out to me with an email saying, we'd love to invite you as media. Usually you have to apply for media. So this should have already been like, I should have already been really excited. We'd love to invite you as media, blah, 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 blah. And I accepted and I requested a +1 so I could have someone help me with filming and all of that. Just because when I make content, I want to make sure I do it right. And I came back, I'm like, man, money's kind of tight. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to go to BlizzCon. I kind of responded saying, no, I'm actually going to pass up this year. And we were actually sitting in our, Lashes used to be a Heroes of the Storm community manager. We were in her chat one night. We were actually playing WoW Classic. This was like maybe 2 weeks after WoW Classic.
We were landing it.
We're landing WoW Classic. I've got a second computer right over here. And we're like landing WoW Classic. And we're like watching her stream. And we're like chatting. And the community manager that had actually invited me to BlizzCon was actually in the chat. So shout out to Aramis. But I'm like, shit, we really should go. Turns out that I'm one of the few like early invites that they sent out this year. So thanks again, Blizzard. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of content you guys have. But it is still a make or break BlizzCon because, you know, it's got to be good.
100% is. They're not stupid. I mean, as much as they're not the same company they used to be, and as much as they do make dumb decisions, they're not dumb. And they have to see how much this BlizzCon is important. And even then, I hear a lot of people saying that the reason that Heroes happened early is because they were trying to give something for people so they could kind of build up the hype going in. And like we said earlier, you know, a lot of people on my friends list are playing HOTS who I haven't seen play in a long time. They're doing something right, and I think it's only going to continue, or at least I can hope it continues.
I gotta look at my Blizzard friends list to see how many people are playing HOTS. I'm very curious.
I mean, I think there was something like 13K people in the Twitch channel yesterday watching, well, trying to watch for a lot of it.
There are 4 people on my friends list playing HOTS. That's
probably 4 more than it was yesterday.
maybe out of 88 people online. Well, either way, BlizzCon next week. So we're back here with the Tilted Tavern, and I guess I'm just gonna kind of say it now. I've been eager to get back into podcasting for a while. I've been working with a podcast network kind of as a graphics designer / producer called Prediction Esports, where we produce a variety of shows. Currently we do Dota 2, Smash Brothers, Call of Duty, and we had a FIFA show.
NBA.
I'm glad. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. NBA. Some P Sports trash. That's gone. Never once watched a minute of it because that's not who I am. And, you know, we're looking to expand into other games as well. We also have a business of esports show, which to me isn't really the most compelling topic personally, but for a lot of people it would be. But it's, you know, it's fun and it gives me something to do and something to work on. But I've been eager to get back into podcasting. So, you know, I started doing Town Hall like back in 2014. So like almost 6 years ago now, I started working on creating Town Hall, Town Hall Heroes to be exact. But I think I'm going to revive that idea of just Town Hall. And I think it's just going to be Town Hall. Like Tilted Tavern was a fun idea, but it actually turns out that YouTube and a bunch of sponsors and stuff are quite squeamish about talking about beer. And as a long-term product, it's actually a negative thing to have a show that's video games and beer, because a lot of people just don't want beer to be a relevant topic paired with video games because of children and so on and so forth. So, I've made the conscious decision that it's like, okay, well, oops, we need to we need to step away from the idea of making beer a topic in the show. So we're moving to Town Hall. It won't be Town Hall Heroes. It'll just be Town Hall. The show will cover basically PC esports titles, PC games. So more or less, it's going to be Blizzard news, Riot news, Valve news, whatever is relevant at the time, whatever's big, whatever's exciting. If there's a big Fortnite tournament, we might talk about that. If there's a big RLCS tournament we go to, we might talk about that. That's just kind of the idea. Can we have Town Holiday back? Can every episode be a Town Holiday is the actual question. The answer is no, but we can bring Town Holiday back. Yes. So Town Hall's coming back. It's going to be a new beast. I've already been working on the assets for about 2 weeks now. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm actually keeping the branding very, very 80s, just kind of like Town Hall Heroes was, but doing it all new, doing it all from scratch. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm pumped to be getting back into doing podcasting. I think I want to aim for Wednesday nights because Town Hall was always a Wednesday night show. Wednesday nights I'm consistently available after 8 p.m. So I think that's pretty much when we're going to look to do it. And we're going to start after BlizzCon. And I think we're going to have... Oh, I shouldn't announce it yet. Our other host. I shouldn't announce it yet. I think we know who our other host is, though. I think there's going to be 3 of us. You want to be on Town Holiday? We might be able to make that happen, Cowhead. We'll see. And by have you on, we would do open phones. Because that's something I've been wanting to do. Get a second PC and do open phones for Town Holiday. But yeah, dude. Mirano, any final thoughts for tonight?
See what BlizzCon brings. And November 14th, I'm very excited for.
Yeah, Runeterra.
Yeah, I'm ready to actually. I'm excited for a game that is brand new, because even like when I try to go back to Hearthstone, there's expansions that I missed and have to learn. I'm excited for a vanilla building from the ground up, being able to get involved and play it.
It's a good way to put it. I mean, I can't remember the last time I jumped into something fresh. Well, I mean, Artifact, I guess. Artifact for me.
No, absolutely Artifact, yeah.
And I really like learning these kinds of games. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I don't know where Runeterra is going to land, but I certainly would say that it has more promise than most things that I've played recently. And just don't forget Breakaway. Yeah, dude, I've gone out there and I've grinded some games and said hopefully this is good. And Breakaway was dead on arrival from server problems. They just the game was super fun on LAN, but it was not fun online. Artifact obviously had problems, and beyond that, I haven't really tried anything else. There's been so few esports or competitive games that have been compelling to me.
There's a lot coming out though that I'm very interested in. I just got the alpha invite for Bleeding Edge, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like today, from like 5 to 8, and it's my
like
mom's day.
It's like a melee.
I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not playing.
It's like a melee Overwatch or something.
Yeah, and I think it's more. I get them confused because there's a couple of them, but yeah, it was like it almost looked more like a Borderlands watch, from what I remember. But
interesting.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Didn't play it.
Well, guys, with this show being back, this is going to mean the content will exist on YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to be firing up a podcast feed, for RSS feed for a town hall when that goes live after BlizzCon. So the Tilted Tavern will be shutting its doors, I guess, just because the idea of drinking beer and talking about beer literally lost me my YouTube partnership, which is to me crazy. Like, I can no longer monetize YouTube videos because of Tilted Tavern, which whatever, but I definitely want to work towards making content again, and I think it'll be fun to revive Town Hall. So look forward to that. Look forward to my YouTube and Twitch having a variety of content from BlizzCon. I'll be uploading to both platforms literally during BlizzCon and after BlizzCon, bringing all my gear out there so that I can upload footage and gameplay of whatever new content there is there. And I got to figure out what mic I'm bringing to do commentary on top of that. But it's going to be great to see everyone that's attending BlizzCon once again. And yeah, shout outs to Zoya. Happy birthday, Zoya.
Is it really his birthday?
Did you miss that meme? You weren't. You don't know that meme.
No,
Every day it's Zoya's birthday. He missed
I'm gonna
that
tell
meme.
him happy birthday then.
He missed it. Yeah, tell him happy birthday. Everybody tweet at Zoya. We're in the same guild in Classic WoW. Today's his birthday. He's in a raid right now, but he's gotta get those birthday wishes. So at Tempo Zoya on Twitter, happy birthday. I love you all. Have a good night. Peace.
Bye.